all black or all white, it is still mighty intimidating. Watching the two sides warming up tonight was interesting, Ian. The French were all contact, New Zealand virtually no contact. Few tackle bags out there, but it was all about fizz and it was all about pace.
And all about accuracy. And if anything taken throughout this rugby championships is their ability to produce accuracy in their game in key moments. You think back to those tries, particularly Kieran Reid against South Africa, the 3s and 2s and 2s and 1s, and everyone back home in their various clubs will have gone through those times in training sessions in the evening, 2s and 1 drills, and you think, why are we doing this? Well, New Zealand show exactly why we keep doing those drills.
Referee from South Africa, Jaco Piper, just looking at Remy Tallies there. I wonder, is he slightly over-emotional? We shall see. Nervous time for the French out half. And New Zealand, they come to Paris off the back of a comfortable 54-6 win against Japan. And that match gave the likes of Richie McCaw and Dan Carter the chance to shake off some injury-enforced ring rust. And the Tokyo match also gave new men their first taste of the all-black culture. Dan Carter, on his 99th appearance for the All Blacks, gets us underway. And I'm delighted to say that so far the forecast rain has managed to hold off here in Saint-Denis. And here is Remy Tallies of Castres, the man who led Castres to the top 14 title last season. He showed great courage in that final, dropping 2 goals. He can take the pressure.
Yeah, composure, key element tonight for France. As I said, there's a little bit of confusion in the field. They're not quite sure what type of game they want to play. At times over the last 12 months, they need that clarity of thought from the half-backs in particular. And be cool, calm and collected.
Beautiful line out from Mialamu to Kieran Reid. Here's Manonu missing his old partner Conrad Smith, who's on sabbatical at the moment. Aaron Smith and Ben Smith to Dan Carter. Played 50 minutes last week against Japan in Tokyo. And here comes Richie McCaw, 85th time as captain of his country, passing Brian O'Driscoll's record. And we got our first infringement of the evening. And just reading the New Zealand Herald this week, Ian, and their take on the All Black Tour of Europe, they said this will be new world meeting old. The French, English and Irish will endlessly obsess about set piece, territory and possession, with everyone happy to advance inch by painful inch. But this is not the rugby of the All Blacks. Their rugby is more guerrilla warfare. It's about ruthless smash and grab.
They've certainly been ruthless, certainly been clinical. Absorb anything the opposition throws in them and then counter punch with ruthless efficiency at times. Yeah, and they still kick. They don't always keep the ball in hand. They kick more than any other team at the moment. But it's done for a purpose. It's done to attack, to create opportunity.
Well, let's see how the pitch manages to hold up. They've had their problems in Murrayfield and in Cardiff already today with poor surfaces. This one is legendary for carving up. Good scrummage by the All Blacks. Here's Aaron Smith now. Now it's Manonu. Oh, Manonu through a rather flimsy French defence there. There was some rubbernecking going on there, and they're going to score the first try, are they? So close from the comeback man, Corey Jane.
Let's just double check what it is. Jim.
Breathtaking stuff.
Try.
I'm asking whether that was a try or not. Despairing tackle. That's a try.
I think you're right, Ryan, because his legs were in the air, his body was out of the field of play, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't affect the decision. So if the body's in the air and he's managed to ground the ball there, then that's a score.
Well, that is a scintillating finish by Corey Jane. Really very little space there. Medad comes across and he grounds that ball from that angle before his knee touches the ground. There he is, he's in the air. Or does he drop it?
Oh, does he drop the ball though? He'd done so much right there. So much right. And the call is with Jim Ewell.
Thank you.
Oh no, but it was millimetres. It was millimetres away from Corey Jane, who, well, it was personal pyrotechnics from the New Zealand winger.
What a stunning attempt though. Great balance. Great spatial awareness there to understand where the corner post was and try and place that ball. In the end, he just sort of bounced it down. That's the danger that New Zealand offer. Man went through far too easily. A very fragile French defence. You've got to make your first up tackles.
Yeah, it was rather worrying for the French defence how easily Manonu coasted through there. A little bit of balsa wood defending down that channel from the French. New Zealand coming off that Japan victory, 8 tries against Japan, though they did concede 22 turnovers, and they did struggle at scrum time there. 2 diminutive Japanese prop forwards got underneath the New Zealand front row and did cause them issues through most of the game.
I wouldn't call it an area of concern for New Zealand, because they still see a scrum as a means to restart the game. Pure and simple. As long as they get some degree of parity, they can get the ball away from there, that's all they're worried about. But they don't want to concede too many penalties on the back of scrums.
It was also noticeable last week in Tokyo that New Zealand, against a side ranked 16 in the world, made 145 tackles to Japan's 87, but they scored 8 tries to 0.
Shoulders up.
Just to back up what you were saying there, Mr. Evans.
Crouch.
Well, the bands begin to strike up here in this wonderfully impressive Saint-Denis Stadium, and it's Morgan Parra who fades, and it's a penalty to the French, so that is the first lick of the index finger for the French at scrum time. Tony Woodcock's face wreathed in smiles, the veteran propped, but the upper hand initially here for the French. And well, it said again in the newspapers this morning, the scrum could be France's kryptonite. Will it turn out to be thus?
Well, in this instance, what they've been able to do is relieve the pressure on the back of that penalty, and they'll be happy to just get away from their own 5-yard line. And there's no Nicolas Master, who's a big ball carrier for France, for SGS playing. They still fancy the chances, and they need to get in an edge and put some kind of advantage in the scrum.
Taken by Johan Maestri, the French Rambo, the enforcer type on this French side. Morgan Parra launches one downfield, taken by Corey James, so close to getting that try. Now the immaculate Israel Dag, and he finds Charles Piatau, who would have been in the starting lineup today, even if Julian Savea had been fit.
A strong game both against Australia, defensively in particular, and also in Japan.
Now it's Nonu, back at Auckland. He was without a team for a while. That's Israel Dag. He's hit hard by Fritz, and away goes Fofana. The only man to score a try against New Zealand in those 3 summer tests. It came after the 9th minute of the first test. Tryless after that, France. Advantage to the home side. And it's picked up by Damien Chouli of Clermont. The slimline Damien Chouli, he's trimmed down a bit of poundage this season. He seems to be much more athletic on his feet.
After 9 passes, the only pass was on the first played him to the ground.
Great tackle by Retallick there, but that was a typical wholehearted tackle by Florian Fritz. You expect that from him. That's what he's going to give you, a physicality midfield.
Yeah, he was a player who really impressed Steve Hansen in the summer. The outstanding French player, Florian Fritz. Hansen thought.
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's a powerful driving hit from the French centre.
They have to make their first up tackles. You cannot allow the players of the quality of Israel Dag, the ability, the time and space to create openings.
Just saw the little push there by Retallick. Here is Morgan Parra. He was originally unavailable for this game, serving a suspension for punching against Bordeaux in the top 14, but that ban was shortened and it finished, appropriately enough, on Thursday. But he hasn't kicked much for Clermont this season. That task has fallen to Brock James, so he might be lacking a little bit in sharpness in that department, although he has landed all of the kicks he's had at club level.
That was a fairly ugly effort, not even close. And there's an opportunity there to kick for the corner. I was on the halfway line. The better option would have been a kick down into the corner.
But New Zealand have already beaten France in France this week, 48-0 in the Rugby League World Cup in Avignon. Dan Carter, well, he'll be hoping to make his 100th appearance at Twickenham next week as they go for revenge. That's taken by Wenceslas Loré, the former Biarritz man, now at Racing Metro, and now Morgan Parra. Here is Tales into midfield to Florian Fritz. Parra switching the point of attack here, sweeping around on this very large, almost equidistant blindside. And they were working hard on contact before kick-off this French side. There's no release there. So the advantage is coming to the French, and they're back in the pocket here through Florian Fritz, who has dropped goals for France before, but this is in a much easier position now for the potential of an opening score.
Well, he did kick a drop goal in the summer against New Zealand, actually, but he's going to see with France, they're trying to keep the ball tight, get him Shuley to carry Wenceslas Loré. He's had a strong season for Racing so far, keeping Donnelly did out to the starting 15, very strong. A very mobile back row they picked tonight. Dusatoir, Loré and Shuley, they will get around the field, and they did cause, talked about a scrum causing New Zealand problems. The breakdown also went France's way in those summer tests as well. Not enough to change the outcome, but they have caused New Zealand problems at the breakdown in the past.
Yeah, New Zealand actually have a much heavier pack tonight than the French. It's 5 or 6 kilograms a man, which is a massive amount. Now Morgan Parra missing, with a rather scratchy opening effort from distance. This one comfortably within his range, and the French take the lead at the Stade de France through their little maestro, Morgan Parra.
I'll give France a bit of confidence. They stood that sort of opening onslaught from the All Blacks. Together on the scoreboard, they couldn't get the crowd behind them.
Well, Philippe Saint-André said a few days ago that he wanted his French team to release the handbrake in this game.
Well, they certainly picked a back line that could, if they get any sort of decent sort of quality ball, take the game to New Zealand, but whether they can sustain it for the full 80 minutes, that's the question mark that New Zealand constantly throw at the opposition.
Here is Tales, and well, he was a bit of a journeyman, Remy Tales, for the early part of his career, spent many seasons in the lower leagues and less fashionable teams.
It's been a perennial question for France over the last few seasons, who their first choice 10 is, and do they have an elite outside half. I think Francois Trandoux's an outstanding player, but Philippe Saint-André doesn't think so.
Another great take in the line out from Kieran Reid. They do make that look simple when it sticks. There is Smith now, and to another Smith on brilliant form, of course, through the Rugby Championship. Ben Smith. Now Tony Woodcock.
From the side.
In from the side come the French, so they get their first penalty of the game. Here's Aaron Smith now to Dan Carter, man on. He's already cracked a hole in this French defence. And it was Ben Smith who was chasing, but the referee was always going to bring them back for that side entry.
The worrying thing for France is the fact that New Zealand are making good yardage in every phase there, really significant yardage. And that ties up defences and makes it really hard for defences to reset. They're desperately trying to slow the ball down that time. Masters in there trying desperately to just prevent that ball going out quickly.
Shot.
Dan Carter's first penalty shot, and well, he's 31 years of age now, and maybe not as secure in that 10 shirt as he was previously, with the likes of Aaron Cruden, Bowden Barrett, Tom Taylor even coming through, as we watch Kieran Reid with a sublime take in the line, at his second take of the game.
Whenever Dan Carter went out injured, pangs of worry throughout New Zealand. All of a sudden, with the form of Aaron Cruden, who's been outstanding for them, Bowden Barrett coming through, Tom Taylor mentioned as well, it's an outstanding young talent at New Zealand's disposal in that key position at 10.
Well, they should love him here. He played for Perpignan. Surely they haven't forgotten. World's top point scorer with 132 points against France alone. So Carter to square things up here, and he's managed it Dan Carter, whose Perpignan career was ruined by a torn Achilles, but the limbs were working well there.
A lovely strike. Unhurried, very composed, very relaxed. That's what you want from your pivot.
The All Blacks comfortable winners of the Rugby Championship, 6 from 6, 9 points cleared of South Africa. Really have dominated that series in the last number of seasons. Up goes Sam Whitelock. It was Bird and Thrush against Japan. So they've changed the second row combination.
Metallica and Whitelock really are outstanding second row combination.
Well, back there is Daniel Shuley, but he's knocked the ball forward, and this is where the All Blacks can be dangerous if they win the ball. They weren't able to do so there, and they are inclined to capitalise on the opposition mistakes with some panache.
Shuley misread that totally. Jumped far too early, but that's going to be some tussling in the second row. Pascal Papu is this season a walk-in card against Whitelock.
4 yellows and a red for Pape this season. They say that's one of the reasons why he wasn't considered in the end for the French captaincy. And then they gave it a Dusatoir. What happened to him at the weekend?
It is an advantage to have your captain still on the field.
Dusatoir got a yellow against Brie for Toulouse.
Yes, Mark. It's cutting up.
Some interesting quotes this week from Cian Healy talking about the new scrum engagement and saying it's really created a new era almost for loose head props. As he said, they can now find the sweet spot on the tight head because they're not allowed to hit and chase.
I don't think tight heads had any sweet spots.
They do if you're a loose head. A very juicy one.
Shoulders higher. Shoulders higher. Crouch. Yes. 5. 6.
It's one of the reasons why Japan gave them some issues in this area. Their loose head really did have a fine game in that tight phase. Here's Dan Carter now. Man, no, now Dan Carter. Carter showing that gas, and here's Israel Dag, and he's really hit hard by Fofana. Big tackle from the French centre, the French international player of the year. Off goes Whitelock. Aaron Smith. Manonu at first receiver this time. Now it's Kevin Mealamu. Never mind the numbers on the shirts. Here's Messam now.
It's off right.
Oh, they've turned the ball over here. Now for the French counter. This is Wenceslas Lore. Takes on Dan Carter. Maestri steps over the ball. In comes Dan Carter, trying to knock the big Toulouse second row out of the way, and it's Tales. He had to reach for that one. It wasn't the best of passes. It put the French out half under a little bit of pressure. Now Israel Dag, he's played in 10 of the 11 victories this year by New Zealand. Just missed the Japan match. Metallic. Carter again. The hub, as always, Dan Carter. Aaron Smith. It's Manonu again. He's had the one really powerful line bust so far tonight, Manonu. Here's Corey Jane. Liam Messam is after this one. Back goes Morgan Parra. And he stayed calm, and he's got to continue to stay calm here as he's brought to ground by Corey Jane.
New Zealand are winning a quality ball from the phases. They're making good yardage on their carries. That means their backs can hold their depth, and they're pulling those passes back and attacking from depth. Manonu, Israel Dag, Corey Jane always attacking from significant depth, which causes problems for defenders. They have to make your tackles. Fofana this time, you saw Fritz making a tackle on Israel Dag earlier on. This time it's Fofana.
The All Blacks, they've won 9 of the last 12 rugby championships, or Tri-Nations it was previously, of course. New Zealand winning their last 12 rugby championship fixtures. That's how dominant they have been in the Southern Hemisphere. But it's all about the Northern Hemisphere now for Richie McCaw and his men on this November tour. Let's see if they can get some purchase at scrum time. Already given away a penalty here, and they've won a penalty on this occasion. And is it Yannick Forestier who is hinging on that loose head side? No Thomas Domingo tonight, a very powerful, short, squat scrummager. He's out injured. Forestier, his replacement.
Domingo is a big bloke, not only his scrummager, but also his ball carrying ability. And France will be happy with that. The penalty for the All Blacks. Again, it's been the type of game that France will enjoy. It's not many clear-cut chances. There's been a few turnovers in the ball, and there's not something you associate with New Zealand, particularly when you get into the red zone, the 22, and you turn over the ball that often. They have done in this game, and they've made good yardage from their phases.
This is New Zealand side missing the likes of Conrad Smith, who I've mentioned, Sonny Bill Williams, and Rennie Ranger, Jerome Kano, Victor Vito, Richard Kahui, all for varying reasons, but it shows what sort of production line that they have in New Zealand. Here's Dan Carter now. 5 from 5 against Japan. It was a successful rust loosener in Tokyo. Give his side the lead, and there hasn't been a huge amount of fizz, bang and pop in this opening quarter of the game, but we do have New Zealand ever so slightly in the ascendancy in front of 82,000 in northern Paris.
New Zealand sent a number of the players. I think 8 or so of the players ahead. Didn't bother sending them to Japan. They made 11 changes on the back of that side. And the likes of Kieran Reid will get there and prepare properly for the game here in France.
Rene Tallez with the restart. In comes Sam Whitelock. Takes it securely at what they call now the third set piece. And it's Alan Smith. Oh, and there was a little bit of confusion there. Tara they weren't quite sure on the French side who was going to take the ball there, but it's Maxime Médard who has it now. And he is a man who could cause some serious damage if he gets a chance to run on this New Zealand defence. Now it's Florian Fritz. Good offload to Thierry Dusautois. Remy Tallez and out Benjamin Kaiser. He's played in 3 Heineken Cup finals for 3 different teams. Taken on by Pascal Pape. Now it's Para. Remy Tallez. Wesley Fofana. Little chance of space here as Wenceslas Lore goes. Tackled by Manonu, and he was looking for the killer offload there, and it almost came.
That's better for France. 2 or 3 very good phases there. First of all, led by Tallez, attacking the defensive line of New Zealand, taking the ball all the way to the game line, crossing it, looking for the offload. All of a sudden, New Zealand defenders have to go back on their heels, and that creates a bit of opportunity then for them to attack the other side of the field. Flore, who's looked very industrious in the game so far, looking for the offload. Fofana's always there, always probing, always looking for the opportunities. That's better, crossing the game line. It's all important. Once you cross the game line, it's much easier then for the attacking side.
There's an amazing record New Zealand have. They've won 28 of the last 30. Don't have to remind you again who beat them in that run. They had a draw with Australia. The vengeance match, they're calling the Twickenham face-off next Saturday.
Nothing too serious then.
Well, there they go. As expected, the pitch is ripping apart. Just when you need ground force, a Monty Dawn. He's filming elsewhere. It is a disgrace here. That's the National Stadium. They've been spraying the Murrayfield pitch, the nematodes up there, roundworms, with garlic spray. They wouldn't be short of that here, but I think they need more than garlic to fix this one. And it's been a disgrace for many years now, the Stade de France pitch, and makes it so difficult for sides to gain any sort of purchase at scrum time.
So it's very easy to avoid the big. You're trying to avoid the big hits and use your feet to beat the tackler and lose purchase. It's so difficult.
I'll give you a few more quotes later on from the New Zealand press, just to let you know exactly how obsessed they are about beating England next week. I've been doing my reading. But in the meantime, it's all about France. And that, at the moment, looks pretty solid and secure from the French again. And they've got a penalty coming here. And it's in a very kickable position. Advantage played. Here's Remy Tallis. Picked up by Maxime Médard. It's Richie McCaw who goes down and tries to strip the ball from him in the tackle. Morgan Parra. So they can play with the confidence of a free play now here. France, where the referee brings it all to a temporary halt in this kickable position for France.
For France, they have to get over that game length. If they go get over the game length and then attack the wider channels. At the moment, New Zealand's first up tackling too good for them, and then they slow the ball down. The likes of Fofana, Uge, who haven't touched the ball so far in this game, and Médard will get an opportunity. But first up tackling for New Zealand has been quite strong. No, far too many penalties from the scrums though. It's disrupting any sort of flow in this game.
122nd cap, amazing for Richie McCaw tonight, back after his sabbatical.
Astonishing.
Morgan Parra. It may have been Maxime Machino in that 9 shirt tonight for France, if he'd been fit. One of the players out injured. They don't lack for scrum halves in France at the moment. Familiar, slightly crouched pose of Morgan Parra, and it's 6 points apiece from the man who started at out half in the World Cup final, where this French side lost by a single point.
What do you think the likes of Pelissier can't get in their starting 15 on an outstanding season for Montpellier so far? They've got plenty of scrum halves, as you said. The lacking numbers are tight, they're propping outside half. They've got plenty of outstanding scrum halves at their disposal.
Carter's restart, Damien Chuli. No Louis Picamole in the selection tonight. Supposedly injured. May not have been selected anyway.
Supposedly injured, but on the bench for Toulouse out in Hong Kong.
Exactly. Supposedly injured.
The bizarre world of French rugby.
And it's going to be advantage to New Zealand here for a knock-on. The whistle goes. We will be advanced to a penalty.
I said he could have picked any one of 3 people there to penalise. Not releasing, coming in from the side as well. You score a penalty, you bring yourself level and then give away one. It's a balance you have to maintain. You want to be competitive in the breakdown because you don't want to allow New Zealand to win good quality, quick ball.
Good attempt at a strip there at the breakdown. It's becoming rather fashionable, the strip tackle.
Tallis going in high there. Didn't want to allow Ben Smith an opportunity to offload. He shrugged off, but Fritz was in as well. And Wenceslas Lorry. So important to make your first up tackle because it is such a threat, particularly in the wider channels from New Zealand. Because Gargis, James, Piatau, or this Kieran Reid always enjoys hitting those wider channels as well.
Well, the style New Zealand prefer to adopt was described within the camp as triple threat rugby. And Steve Hansen said that the England defeat showed New Zealand that their structures were limited and patterns predictable, so they've tried to expand the variety of those threats since that defeat in the west of London. But at the moment they are struggling to get past this French side. And this is an awfully long way out for Dan Carter. It's going to take all his strength to make the distance, and he showed marvellous power there.
Oh, you have little faith. But yeah, France are doing well in frustrating that. New Zealand, so many layers to their attacking game. There's so many tiers to it. It's not one tier of attacking players will hit you. There's a second or a third tier at times.
Remy Tales, he is, according to St Andre anyway, you can never trust his injury reports, playing with a broken nose. We think he's having a dig at the French clubs when he complains about injuries, that he's not getting enough time with his players. That's what he's really saying. They have to play top 14 fixtures the week before matches like this. Here's Aaron Smith, and it's Whitelock now. Oh, and Smith charged down by Parra, and he's going to gather this one, Morgan Parra. And the French attack sweep away to the right-hand side. Here is Florian Fritz, and it's Fofana now. Fofana finds Johan Uche. And Richie McCaw gets to him.
It's the first time Uche's touched the ball.
It's Nicolas Mas, the experienced former Perpignan captain. He captained them to the top 14 title. Here's Benjamin Kaiser. Liam Messon makes the tackle alongside Kieran Reid. What a season Kieran Reid has had. Here is Forestier to Pape, the former French captain. And now it's Tales, the opportunity. Again, he challenges that gain line, Remy Tales. Oh, that's a good thumping hit on Bryce Dulin. He does well, actually, to keep the ball available. Here is Maxime Maida. Good step by Maida. Gets past a couple of defenders. And they're struggling a little bit here to defend this efficiently as Dusatoir takes it on. And now Maestri.
The recycling of the ball is a lot quicker there. So it's harder for the defence.
They're giving New Zealand plenty of issues to deal with. And here's Dusatoir, who always seems to play well against New Zealand. And now it's Tales once more. He's having a cracking start, Tales. He's not afraid to take them on that gain line, is he? And it's another penalty infringement here as Kaiser finds Maestri, and he drives hard into the midriff of Manonu, and off goes Uche. And you can see how close they are as Bialamu comes through, and now Tales again. Very important tackle by Richie McCaw. Who else? Morgan Parra to Bryce Dulin, and Dulin is hauled down just short by Liam Messon. Fascinating series of plays there by the French, but the All Blacks, or the All Whites tonight, somehow hold firm.
A lot of that started in the back where Pape took the ball and offloaded, and he got to the ground. Good quick ball allowed Tales to attack that defensive line, got across the game, and all of a sudden the recycling of the ball got quicker. New Zealand defence got stretched, and then desperate defence just kept France out. But that's far better, far more dynamic, far quicker from France. The pace of the game just upped considerably during that period of play.
Well, he needs this to reach 300 points in a French jersey in his 52nd appearance. Morgan Parra.
Good pressure by Parra initially on Aaron Smith to block that box kick.
He only lasted 12 minutes of that World Cup final before going off injured. Missed the Tour of New Zealand in the summer, did Parra. But he's back tonight, and looks like he's going to make some more impact on the scoreboard here. They did lose that series 3-0, losing the second test 30-0, but in the other two tests they were truly competitive, and they gave the All Blacks an awful lot to think about.
One thing they were taken out here, even though we've only had penalties so far in this game, they only scored one try in 3 tests. You need to take your chances, because you know somewhere down the line New Zealand will nail theirs.
And Morgan Parra has nailed that one, so 9 points apiece as we enter the final 10 minutes before half-time. Good charge down there by Morgan Parra.
Pulling the ball back then, heavy step inside. Good strength by Uche, get across that game line. Again, that's attacking the game line. That is about, he gets his arms beyond the tackler as well, looking to offload. That's what Philippe Saint-André wants from Remy Tales.
Restart to Maxime Maida. versatile Toulouse player, full-back or wing. He's happy in all of those positions across the back three.
From his restarts now, that's the third time France have only gained about 5-10 yards on the back of their return, their kick return. Got to gain more yardage, more territory. This is a good attacking line-out now for New Zealand.
The line-out's gone well so far for New Zealand. Neil Amu to Retallick this time. It's Aaron Smith to Dan Carter. It's Ben Smith to Nonu. Good press by the French midfield. Now it's Dusatois. Remember that World Cup final of 2007? 30 tackles in that game from the French captain tonight. Man of the match on that occasion was Dusatois. Fritz downfield to Corey J. Now Israel Dag is his big mate. They're very close friends, those two. Here goes Kazar and Damien Shuli. They leave it for Morgan Parra. And it's Fritz there on the first receiver position, straight down the throat of Israel Dag.
But Towers doesn't have big distance with his kicks. So I think it took Fritz there to try and get a little more distance to try and push New Zealand back, because they're receiving the ball around about the halfway mark, which gives them good counter-attacking options. They need to get a bit more distance with their kicks. And put in the pressure.
We're talking about how efficient New Zealand are on the counter-attack and their conversion rates. Just looking at some of the statistics from that great game in Ellis Park against South Africa. South Africa 19 line breaks, 4 tries. New Zealand 7 line breaks, 5 tries. You cannot take your eyes off them. Here is Fritz. Now it's Morgan Farah, and he gets good support from Damien Shuli. Great line. Now it's Fofana. Good feet from Fofana. Here is Nicolas Mas. In goes Dusatoir to support him. Now it's Loré. This is more like it from France. Now it's Pape.
Oh, Mas knocked that ball on there.
That's Parra to Benjamin Kaiser. Had to take that into contact. There weren't too many options. There are now. It's Ties, and it's Bryce Dula. And Bryce Dula attempts to skip away from that all-black defence. This is where they need that quick ball. Parra. And now Kaiser tries to clean up. It's an offside advantage against New Zealand. Well, they've been punching away at this New Zealand line on several occasions now, but they failed to break down this durable New Zealand defence. Now it's Parra, maybe a chance for width on this occasion. Here's Fofana, and now Dula to Dusatoir.
So we needed to pick an angle there.
Little dart from Maxime Médard, and a knock-on from Morgan Parra, but Jaco Piper was playing a long advantage there, penalty advantage to the French. And this French crowd, I can tell you, are really getting behind their side. They can get quiet here, they can get frustrated with their team, but not so far tonight.
Just starting to take some good angles, some good offloading opportunities. And that's the hit by Mealamu on Morgan Parra, and he felt that. We shall surely pick a sumptuous angle of Morgan Parra here on. So Tales and Dula, the Castra teammates, really work well together. Put some nice angles, nice support angles of Dula. They're threatening the game and they're getting across. They're asking some significant questions of this New Zealand defensive line. It feels to be broken. They are bending a little bit.
Here's another quote from the New Zealand press for you. The main event will be the test against England. Defeat against France or an historic loss to Ireland would be painful, but all eyes will be on the old cabbage patch where the All Blacks rotted last year. Told you they were obsessed, man.
There is a danger in that as well, Mike.
There is. And maybe we're seeing it here.
There's significant danger. As I said, you can watch France play. Form is no indicator of the performance you're likely to get of them. They do have some hugely talented players. What they needed was a little bit of clarity in what they were trying to do. And they certainly got that tonight. They certainly cleaned their shape, which has another been a criticism levied at them.
So Morgan Parra, the top point scorer in the Heineken Cup last season. And after his opening miss, he's added another one.
It's a poor miss. I would expect a kicker of his ability to nail that. But again, attack the game line. That's Shuley running up Parra. Fofana's there to support as well. The excellent thing there is the fact that Fofana expected Shuley to go through that defensive line.
Great take by Corey Jane. Wonderful stuff.
He's great thing on a high ball.
So really rated by Steve Hansen. He's hardly played any rugby in the last year to 14 months, Corey Jane, but straight back into the all-white jersey tonight. Dan Carter.
That's an indicator that the coach has a lot of faith in you as a player.
Dula and Israel Dag. Did he do a Mike Brown there and touch the whitewash? Off goes Piatai. We haven't seen Piatai. 2 tries last week against the Japanese. Morgan Parra. Oh, lovely pass from Corey Jane. He's such a skillful footballer. As he showed when almost scoring that try in the opening minutes of this game. That's Maydar. Taken by Corey Jane, 44th cap tonight. He started the World Cup final, Corey Jane.
That's of Israel Dag and Corey Jane working together in partnership. Deep in their own territory. And there's a wavelength they're both on, understanding the integrating.
Well, there's a malfunctioning New Zealand line-out. I don't think we've seen that so far tonight. That's Parra to ties. Florian Fritz steps. And then as caught, in goes Thierry Dusautoir. Looks really fired up tonight, the French captain. Try scorer Dusautoir in the World Cup final. Now it's Johan Maestri. Closing in on the final minute of this first half as Bryce Dula runs into Retallick and Kevin Mialamu. Here is Tallez. And that ball has a little bit too much distance on it, and it was easy for Israel Dag.
Far too long.
Back.
Really wanted that ball just to drop her to the 22. It's far too easy for a player of his own Dag's quality. Yeah, that's something you don't see very often. Keane Reid making an error. He's simply majestic in the Rugby Championships. That performance in South Africa was remarkable.
Kieran Reid was the captain against the French in June, that 3-test series. Here's Kaiser, final play of this first half.
Good footwork by Kaiser there.
It's Parte, who's really hit hard there by Franks. Owen Franks. Franks' brothers, of course, have both represented New Zealand. Here's Parra. Now it's Kaiser. He's been a willing ball carrier tonight, is Benjamin Kaiser.
Control the possession over the past 15 minutes or so, France.
Well, the French probably realising they weren't going to get too far just inside the New Zealand half, so decide to chip the ball into touch to bring the first half to a close. And it's been frustrating in some ways in that we haven't seen that dynamic New Zealand try-scoring rugby so far, but we've certainly seen a very focused and obdurate display by France. The half-time score at the Stade de France, France 9, New Zealand 9.
Thank you.
Rory. Hey, I did it, Rory.